When I heard that there was an international book fair in Delhi happening, even though it happens annually, I could not wait and I went on the second day. And I got all of this, one of them being free. Yes, I got these books, and this one was actually free for me. How? I'm gonna tell you about it. But before that, welcome back to my channel. This is Anushka Chatterjee, and in today's video, we are going to talk about some books that I got from the book fair. I have not read these books yet. I am not even in the procession of reading them yet. Yet, I am so passionate that I handpicked out these books, except the free one, of course. And we are going to talk about that in this video, and we have the whole mood set for talking about books. We have our 3 candles, all of them scented. We have our vision board, we have our fairy lights, we have the books, and best of all, we have me. So subscribe to the channel, share this video, like this video, comment if you like, and let's get started. So before we get started, I want to show you all the bookmarks, the abundant amount of bookmarks that I got. Most of these were actually free if you got the book, but I nicked some of them from the shops which were too pricey actually. This bookmark actually got to me because it's like Goju Satoru. Pardon me if I didn't pronounce that right, but it's like an anime bookmark, and I didn't resonate with it. I don't know any anime. This is actually so pretty. It's by the publisher Prakash Books, and we got a few books from them. I think I got one of these books from them only. This is some quote of the book that the author was going to visit their publishing house. This is also a quote of the book that the author was going to visit. Same bookmark. This bookmark, it's from HarperCollins. This bookmark says simplicity, minimalism, yet this resonates so much. It's like read with a period. Read, period. Couldn't be simple enough. Then we have this, which is like just their books. They have like a series and a list of books. We have this actually, and this was given to me from Hubhawks publishing house, and it was actually free. So that is how I got it. This is from Amazon. They actually had a spin the wheel, and they asked us to order a book from their site and show the proof, and then we could spin their wheels. Of course, I wasn't stupid enough to do that, because what if I try next time and actually got so many books for a better price than ordering on Amazon. This is from Book Bazaar, and the rest are just the same bookmarks. That now let's get talking about books. So the first book that I got, this actually isn't the first book, but it's the first book in the pile. So this is the book that I got, and it's Days at the Morisaki Bookshop. Now it's an international bestseller, yet I haven't heard about it yet. But when I searched it up, because the cover, it's pretty, okay? It's amazing. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. So when I searched it up, because the cover attracted me a lot, and the reviews were actually good. It was 4.3 star on Goodreads, and some people actually say don't trust Goodreads, but I didn't have the energy to dive into it, so I just got it. And I think that this is going to get me out of a slump, and it's actually a translated book. The author is actually Satoshi Yagasawa, and it is translated by Eric Ozawa. I may read to you the back. From the beginning of summer to early spring, I lived at Morisaki Bookshop. I spent that period of my life in the spare room on the second floor of the store, trying to bury myself in books. The narrator is actually living most of our fantasies. The cramped room barely got any light, and everything felt damp. I take that back. It smelled constantly of musty old books. but I will always remember the days I spent there because that's where my real life began, and I know without a doubt that if not for the days of the rest of my life would have been bland, monotonous, and lonely. So the I haven't opened this book, and I don't think this is the first line. The first line is actually what was said in the back. So it's like the first two paragraphs of the book is actually as a description in the back, and it says a tale of families, love, new beginnings, and the comfort that can be found in the books. So yeah, I'm really excited to read this book because translated books are like the best ones out there. They do not get enough credit, and I actually um, attended a translation seminar at one of the colleges, and the authors were so just they were so kind, and they were so understanding that the book they're translating was actually not theirs, so they translated point to point. And since it's an international bestseller, I think it's good. And the next is A Court of Thorns and Roses. Now I was actually really on the scale on the deck of this one, because if I'll buy it or I won't buy it, I wasn't really sure, because I have read The Cruel Prince, and many people actually compare it to The Cruel Prince and say that this one is better, which I'm sure it will be. Not no hate to the author, but many say that Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J Maas is actually a romantical fantasy. Meanwhile, Cruel Prince is actually political fantasy. Yes, it does have enemies to lovers romance, but it doesn't really revolve around that romance. But people say, the reviewers say, not the people, the reviews by the people, they say that A Court of Thorns and Roses is actually romance. Plus, since I've read The Cruel Prince, I do not think that I'll be able to move on and like any other fantasy other than this. And this is the favorites. Plus, I already know most of the plot of this book. Like, I know the characters, I know who's to hate, who not to hate. The plot I do know, but I don't know the plot twist. It's like, yes, it's like I have read the back, which I said not to in most of my videos. I say not to read the back, but yes, I did read the back, and I didn't like it. Yet there is so much hype about this on Book Talk. But there is also so much hype on Haunting Adeline and Colin Hoover books. But I feel that I like this not as much as The Cruel Prince. No, I'll compare it to The Cruel Prince, but yes, I like it. Then there was we won't talk about this one. Then there was A Picture of Dorian Gray. Now, the classic, what do I have to explain about this? It's just a classic. The Picture of Dorian Gray is actually about a man who sold his soul in in exchange for youth for eternity. He wanted youthfulness, he sold his soul, but it says that when a painter captures his beauty on the canvas, it sets Dorian's descent into madness. Having bartered his soul for eternal, exquisite youth, his portrait becomes a grotesque caricature of his increasingly corrupt nature. Lured into hedonistic debauchery by Lord Henry's overtures, Dorian becomes a cautionary tale, through which the book explores the often exalted connection between inner and outer beauty. Now, everyone says that the beauty matters inside. Beauty, beauty doesn't matter. Like it, it all just ends up being how good, how beautiful you are inside. But I think Dorian Gray disagrees, and I saw the trailer of this movie, but since being a reader, I know that I'll be reading a book first and then watching the movie. To be honest, I solely got this book to watch that movie because I'll have to read it first, then I'll be able to watch the movie. But all in all, I think it will be good literature for me. It will be good. I mean, between Colin Hoover and this, I'll be reading this. Then there was this book. It's called Ma by Anurupa Devi and translated by Sanjukta Banerjee Bhattacharya. Now, Ma actually means mother in many languages. In my language too, I I call my mother Ma. Now Ma resonates with many things, and the title, I was drawn to the title when I saw this book, and it wasn't even on international bestsellers. It was just Indian authors. I do not read Indian authors at all, except that one Premchand book I read, and that was also translated. So I do not know why I was drawn to this book, why I was intrigued about this book. I was really curious, so I searched it up on Google that at that particular moment, and I couldn't find anything about it. It was just buy this book and, on Amazon and Flipkart, but there was no review, and my mind was like, oh my goodness, I have to read this. If there is no review, how would I know if I'm making a mistake by buying it, or if I'm making a mistake by not buying it? Yeah, I got this book. Plus the cover, I read the back. Again, going against my own rules, but I did read the back. And it's actually, the cover is similar to the description on the back. It's about a man who married a lower class woman against his father's wishes. So his father disowned the woman, his first wife, and then then he was forced to marry another high class rich woman, and now he has two wives. Now the disowned wife actually managed to give him a son. She birthed a son, but the actual wife, the second wife, couldn't give a son. Now the first wife lives a very simple, minimalistic life. She doesn't have any jewelry, she doesn't have any materialistic things, yet she has a son and she has her husband's affection. And the second wife has all of the materialistic things she could ever ask for, but she doesn't have her husband's affection. And between this, the son, I think this will be from the perspective of the son who watches his father and his mother be apart, and his stepmother crave for affection when she actually has all of the materials, but she doesn't have the feelings. And we can actually see on the cover that his eyes are actually on the first wife, and the second wife's eyes are actually on him. Interesting, right? Yeah, Indian authors do not get enough credit. And if this book ends up being a total disaster, then I don't think I'll be reading Indian books anymore, because conditioning, right? I cannot unlearn that thing. I also got 1984. I wasn't sure of classic novels because I tried reading Pride and Prejudice, and I didn't really understand it. Maybe because I watched the movie first, but the language wasn't really going for me. And before anyone says that maybe you are not that advanced in reading, no, I did read Jane Eyre, I read White Knights, I read Crime and Punishment, and I read The Metamorphosis. Okay, I also read The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. I just didn't like Pride and Prejudice, and that's my own opinion. But yeah, 1984, I was not sure on the classic, but when I saw this on the banned books list in the US, I was like, I'm gonna buy it. Bruh, I'm gonna buy it. And I did buy it. And plus, I got it for a really good price. It was like 100 or 200, I don't remember. One of them. So I have been reading this. I have finished this much I have finished, and this much I am reading. I mostly read it in metros because I travel 2 hours going and coming each. So I've been reading this yesterday, and the day before I read the first 5 pages. I liked it. It's exactly what, like, George Orwell is predicting will be happening, and I think it is happening in many countries. Like, the government is watching your every move. You're not allowed to to just protest, or if you're protesting, your kids will turn you in. The kids are the biggest protesters, okay, against their parents. The kids are followers, but protesters against the protesting ideas, if you understand me. Yeah, not going to say much about this book because I'm reading it and I like to keep my mind clear of all of the descriptions. And yes, I didn't read the back about this one because I started with it. Now we are coming to this book, which is Babel. First, I'd like to take a minute to admire this book, to admire the cover. The silver, the silver going with the grey, amazing, perfect. Now that we've admired the cover, perfectly. Written by R.F. Kong. Pardon me if I don't pronounce this right. But yeah, Babel is. I'm reading the back going against my own rules again, but I saw this on book talk and read that it was a political book mostly, because nowadays that books are being banned. There is a trend going on that books are not books are supposed to be political, which is true. Every book is supposed to be political. Every book has an idea that goes against another book's or another person's idea. So yes, books are political. Fight me on it. Okay, so it's Oxford 1836, the city of dreaming spires. It is the center of all knowledge and progress in the world. And at its heart is Babel, Oxford University's prestigious Royal Institute of Translation, the tower from which all the power of empire flows. Empire is written in capital. The E of the empire is capitalized. Orphaned in Canton and brought to England by a mysterious guardian, Robin Swift thought Babel a paradise until it became a prison. But can a student stand against an empire? It's good. Plus, it won British Book Awards, Fiction of the Year, Blackwell's Book of the Year, and number one New York Times bestseller. And like Book of the Year, and Evening Standard said it was ambitious, sweeping, and epic. I'll read it. Yes, I'll read it. And this I won't be reading anytime soon. This I'll be reading when I'm in the midst, I'm dwelling deep in my assignments, in my deadlines, and I don't have any time at all. Then give me 3 hours and I'll devour this book at once. This book, do you see the thickness of this book? This book is meant to be devoured in one sitting. This book is meant to be read when you are procrastinating and you feel the guilty pleasure of reading a book when you actually have so many assignments due or you have a test next day. Okay, last but not the least, it's like a summer song. I do not know this book. I have no idea what this book is, and to be honest, I don't really think I'll be liking this book. But gotta give Indian authors some gotta give Indian authors some support, okay, some belief, because I believe in this book. I believe it from the bottom of my heart. And like a summer song, I actually got it for free because Hubhawks publisher, I'll link their Instagram down in the description box. They were holding some small competitions and they gave us small chits that consisted of a clue of a book, and they said that we have to go around in their shop and find the book, and if we were succeeded in finding a book, we were successful in finding a book, then they would give us a jar which consisted of rewards. Most of these rewards were 40% discount, 5% discount, 2% discount, something like that, or a free book on 2000 plus. But mine was just really free book, and the expression I had in there, this is the expression I had in there. I was ecstatic. I was like, oh my goodness, this is my book. I got a free book, which is every reader's dream. But they actually gave me 5 options, and three of those were Indian mythology, and one of those was actually a series which I don't think I'll be reading the second book. My own choice, my own opinion. So I got this. It's a romance written by Simran Dudeja, and back again. After a bitter heartbreak, Dhruv Malhotra enters a prestigious business school hoping for a fresh start. His carefree days of band performances and partying are behind him. While he focuses on the future, the past still lingers in his mind. His life takes an interesting turn when he meets the bookish and enigmatic Vanya Sharma and feels surprisingly drawn to her. Fun thing, I do know a Vanya Sharma. Amidst the hustle of campus life, their shared love for art, swapping songs and poem, deepens their connection. As Dhruv navigates his feeling and a new life, the sudden reappearance of the bold and mysterious Anisha, his ex-girlfriend, reopens painful wounds. With persisting memories of similar music taste and stunning social appearances, there is something about her that still keeps him hooked. Can Dhruv realize which load road lead to his true happiness. His Vanya, his soulmate and destiny. Okay, I have some comments. No hate to the author. There are many wonderful Indian authors out there. Talk about Satyajit Ray. Talk about Munshi Premchand. Sorry. Talk about not Satyajit Ray. Talk about Sarat Chandra Chattopadhyay. Talk about Rabindranath Tagore. Talk about Arundhati Roy. Not Chetan Bhagat. No, we don't talk about him. And we can also talk about Jhampa Lahari. And yeah, these are the only Indian authors I know. Plus, first thing first, this is clearly a love triangle. He's falling in love with Vanya, and then suddenly his ex shows up and he's like, oh my goodness, I'm still in love with her. Vanya, we don't care about you. Yeah, Vanya, go away. If this is a cheating trope or a love triangle, I'm going to make a long video about it. I don't care if no one watches, but this, why am I always assuming that this book is going to be bad? Because it will be. Have I not read the description? Anyways, yeah, these are the books that I got. Again, like a some like a summer song. Yeah. Ma, I have really high hopes for this book. Babel, gonna finish this when I'm procrastinating, deep in procrastinating. 1984, love this book. Forever will be a fan. Picture of Dorian Gray. I will finish this in one sitting when I have nothing to do. Yes. Court of Thorns and Roses. I hope you're a good book. Okay? I believe in you. Plus, high fae with wings and dark hair. Who would not believe in them? And days at the Morisaki bookshop. That is all, plus some bookmarks. Thank you so much for watching till the end. If you're watching till the end, kudos to you. um, Scented candles, I'll also link the shop for the scented candles in my description box. Yeah, gotta promote businesses. And that's all for today's video. Thank you again for watching, and again, please subscribe the channel, share this video. Have a great day. Bye bye, stay safe.